I'm delighted to open this video celebrating women in STEM and the sciences. Women have played such an important role actually in the history of science at UCD, and probably now and into the future they will play an increasingly important role. Now, of course, in order for women in science to be really effective, mentorship lies at the heart of everything that we're doing here. And actually, as you'll see in this video, we have some amazing women mentors in science. And I think the stories that they're going to share with you through this video will hopefully inspire many more women into the future.
In College of Science, we are proud of all our staff and students who take a step forward in mentoring women. Women in Science Mentoring Award is to celebrate those who empower the next generation of female scientists.
Advising and mentoring, whether it's of students or colleagues, is one of the characteristics that defines us as a community, as opposed to simply a collection of work colleagues. And that community is what we want our schools, our units, our college and UCD to be. And that community will thrive and flourish best when all underrepresented groups belong to it fully. It's impossible to overstate the importance and the value of a colleague who's prepared to give up of their time to offer advice and encouragement to others. That's what builds the mutually supportive environment where the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. We have, of course, various formal schemes by which mentoring is available, but a lot of it happens organically and outside of those structures. And it's essential that we take the time to acknowledge and recognise that the value of this celebration of the Women in Science Mentorship Awards as part of the celebration of International Women's Day and the call to accelerate action.
My experience of over 20 years, first as a tutor and then as a lecturer, one of the challenges I faced is helping mentee to overcome their self-doubt by genuinely believing in their potential and providing continuous support, and by acknowledging even their smallest achievements. I saw them progressively growing into confident leaders.
I like to support women's representation in science and their careers in science in a few different ways. The main one is to make sure that their contributions are recognised and visible, so I nominate women for awards where I can. I also give a lot of talks at women in STEM groups and make sure I represent women's contributions in those talks and the systemic barriers that are faced by women in STEM. And finally, in my master's programme that I'm director for, I try to bring forward women's testimonials who have gone through the programme to increase the representation of women in the programme.
My advice to young women would be to seek out role models, people who inspire them, and reach out to them. Many will be very eager to support them in their path. And at the same time, recognize that they can also be role models for other people, regardless of how early they are in their career. So science thrives on diverse perspective, so stay curious, be persistent, and don't let anyone make you doubt your place in science.
Don't worry too much about the future. Yes, plan and think ahead, but be flexible and open to change. Some of my best experiences have stemmed from opportunities that I never dreamed I would take.
So what inspired me to mentor women in science is all the women in my family. So I might be the first scientist, but we have so many teachers, doctors, people working with the civil service, and absolutely all of them have always embodied great role models for myself. And I try and always think of them when I'm at work and what was about them that inspired me to keep going. I try and live up to everything that they do, which is always to be kind, generous with your time, and to also just try and create an environment where everybody can thrive.
So I was lucky enough to grow up in a family of academics, and I was always that annoying kid that questioned everything. but I got the support and the encouragement I needed to continue in the field of science. And that's who I wanted to be for other people around me. And through my undergrad and my PhD, I was actually very lucky to find people who always encouraged me, who supported me, celebrated my wins, but also were there for my losses. And that's why I decided that I wanted to be that person for someone else. And that's why I chose to mentor in science.
It's very easy to get swept away in the day-to-day tasks of doing your job. And I think mentoring helps to keep you focused on the big picture, on your career goals. So what have I done this month to bring me one small step closer to where I see myself in the future? It can be something small like having a coffee and a chat with someone who's in a role that you see yourself doing, or writing a small piece towards your promotional document.
Mentorship is often viewed as a way to help mentee grow, but I have found out that this is as transformative experience for me too. It is not only about listening and advising, it is actually being part of someone else's journey and investing time in someone else's journey. It challenged my own experience and helped me draw on them. It is also about building sense of purpose and legacy, because when you're part of someone else's journey and you see them succeed, it brings an amazing sense of fulfillment.
Focusing on my particular field of environmental sciences, we do a lot of field work, and these can be long and often really physically demanding days out, sometimes in really remote locations. An issue I have encountered as a woman and as a person who menstruates is that access to bathroom or hygiene facilities can be really difficult and challenging in these conditions. And this can be a real barrier for a young woman or a young person who menstruates coming into the field. So I really encourage supervisors and PIs who work with young people to be open and honest about these challenges and have a conversation around how they can potentially be resolved, because that can really make a difference to a person whether they want to engage with the field or not.
Our marine research is largely field-based and can be very physical, involving power tools, heavy lifting, boats, diving, and this happens in all weathers. So what I would say to young women entering our field is that there are many different fields of science open to you, and always believe that you are capable of doing anything you set your mind or muscle to.
I believe women are natural-born leaders and the driving force in science. They lead projects, they mentor teams, and they made breakthrough discoveries, but they're not always recognized for their contribution. So I would strongly encourage women to take formal leadership roles so that their contribution can be acknowledged, their voices can be heard, and they can pave the way for future generations.
We work in computational chemistry and computational biophysics, which means our lab is the computers that you see here, and we model beautiful enzymes and proteins. And one of the most important parts of my job is encouraging young people to start early, give them the freedom to explore and have independent projects so that they can really develop their skills on their own.
So firstly, thank you to our VP for EDI and all who through the College of Science's Culturally Responsive Mentoring team have developed and supported this initiative. And of course, not just congratulations, but also a huge thank you to all those who have been nominated, and indeed all those who give up their time to support others in the College of Science.